Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Conscious Business Connections, brought to you by the New York City chapter of Conscious Capitalism. My name is Joe Laranjeiro, and I'm joined today by Wissam Kahi of Eat Offbeat, located right here in New York City. Wissam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be talking to you today, Joe.
Great. So Wissam, as you know, conscious capitalism is based on a fairly simple premise, and that is when practiced consciously, businesses really can elevate humanity. And at the core of this philosophy are four tenets. One is higher purpose, another is stakeholder ecosystem, then we have conscious leadership and conscious culture. And it's through a commitment to these four principles that we believe we can not just alleviate, but also transform so many of the challenges that we face today as professionals and as human beings. So this video series, we're engaging in organizations like yours that have used these principles so that others can learn from your experiences and hopefully adopt some of these same practices within their own companies as well. So with that, Wissam, please tell us a little bit about Eat Offbeat.
Wonderful. Yes, that makes perfect sense, because I think what I will tell you about Eat Offbeat, a lot of what you said resonates with what we do. So in a nutshell, Eat Offbeat, which means eat off the beaten path, is a catering and meal delivery company established in New York City that hires talented refugee chefs from all around the world. We have a centralized kitchen. They cook their own food, and then we deliver essentially to companies, to universities, to nonprofits for catering events, team lunches, cocktail parties. And more recently, in the pandemic that happened, we're also offering a meal delivery service all over the city of the delicious meals that we have. In a nutshell, the business is very simple. That's what we do.
Yeah, wonderful. How old is the business?
The business is 5 years old today. It started in 2015. Okay. And it was co-founded by my sister, Manal, who is the CEO of the business, Manal Kahi, and myself, Wissam Kahi.
And from the video that I saw online, it was because of hummus, and she couldn't find good quality hummus, right? I think.
So that's yes, I can tell you briefly the story. It started because I moved before my sister here. She moved after, and she couldn't find good quality hummus in the supermarkets. So she thought, hey, let me do my own recipe based on what our grandma taught us. And it was such a hit with our friends that I told her, hey, maybe we should sell this. Let's give it a try. And we started thinking about it. The refugee crisis was happening at the moment, and there was a connection that was made with the Syrian refugees that can make amazing hummus. I guess this was the beginning of the story, but when we started working with talented chefs and we connected with our partner, the IRC, that presented refugee chefs to us, we found that there is a variety of amazing meals that they can do, and the business evolved from there.
Wow, love it.
Encompass something bigger.
it's so organic, yes. The way it began, yes, with the home cooked and trying back to your lineage. I love that. So in the conscious capitalism space, we speak a lot about values, and these are kind of North Star foundational guiding principles that we live by. Especially during difficult times, we can lose sight of them a little bit. But I wanted to ask you about some of the values that guides the organization and how they manifest in the operations of the business.
Yes, no, thanks for asking this, because I think our business is very linked, and the values are foundational to the value proposition that we offer today. And on one level, you could think of our business as a social business that is helping refugees find employment. But I don't think that's the most important message. The real important message to us is that we're building a platform that allows amazing and very skilled refugee chefs to showcase their talents and their amazing food with the New York community. And it allows New Yorkers to discover these amazing foods that are home cooked, that comes from these countries, and contributes to building this bridge between refugees that come and New Yorkers that do want to build that bridge and this dialogue with them. And it flips the narrative that we hear very often in the media around refugees and the negative stories to something that's much more positive. So linking to the values, I think what's very important for us is we have values of authenticity and pride. Authenticity because the product is authentic. It comes from the home countries of the people, and they're cooking it the way they cook it at home in our centralized kitchen with all the hygiene standards and everything. But again, there's this feel of home. They're inviting you in some way to their home countries to share with you the recipes that come with them. And sometimes they play around with them and they will add an American touch with it. So you see this fusion of cultures that emerges, but it remains very authentic and very handmade. There's a craftsmanship aspect to it. The second, I think, is the pride, because there's an immense pride that the chefs feel in sharing what's very intimate to them with the rest of the community, the New Yorkers. And I can't tell you how extremely happy they are when they receive positive feedback, and they see that, you know, I would call it New Yorkers and Americans are happy to eat their food. They're sharing their culture with the others, and that's super important. So I would say that the last thing is we're trying to put the human again in the center of production and reconnecting the worker with the work that they're doing. There's a very intimate connection between the product and the person who's producing the work that I think sometimes, you know, in our industrialized societies is fading. And for us, we're putting it back. So those three values are very, the pride, the authenticity, and the craftsmanship is core to our offering.
I heard one of your chefs say that food is love. And you could see it in her expression and her emotion that the authenticity and the pride both come out in her in being able to do that.
Yes.
I know that
go ahead, please.
No, please.
I was just going to say, because I love the quote that you just mentioned from one of our chefs, Nasreen from Iran. Very often we get asked, what is food? What is, and we try to find very eloquent words. And when she said that, I never found anything so eloquent than the way she said it and the way she conveyed it, even with her very poor English at the time. Because I think it's extremely true that when the people are putting this passion, the cooks, and this love and this pride in their food, you can feel it when you eat it and when you're enjoying the food. And everybody in our kitchen is convinced this is very important. So we try to keep this good atmosphere in the kitchen. That is paramount, because we believe it gets it goes into the food that we prepare.
Wissam, what are some of the advantages of hiring refugees?
I think so. On one end, I would say refugees are just like everybody else. You can find the spectrum of human skills or non-skills. And emotions and, you know, willingness to work or not. But I think there's a little bit of a difference, because a lot of the refugees that we hire have had to go through very difficult times, some of them in their home countries, and they've surmounted these challenges and these difficulties, and it's built a certain resilience to them. So they really see this as an opportunity to work, and I never felt that they viewed work as an obligation. It's more like a passion and something that we have to do. And I think this comes from the experiences that they lived, where they view this amazing opportunity now to contribute and to offer. Maybe that's something that's a little bit different when we hire refugees. The other thing is there is a multicultural environment in the kitchen that brings a lot of different perspectives to the table. You can see it in the way people interact. It brings sometimes funny moments, but also sometimes some tensions because of incomprehension and challenges that we've had to deal with. And sometimes very, you know, in the food, we create new foods and, you know, we try from different countries. There's some fusion in the mix.
Yeah, these are some things that can be ignored with a traditional resume. You know,
Yeah.
Grit, the resiliency, perspective, you know, background. Very few people can put bullet points on leaving a war-torn nation or having to bring a child, leave other family members behind as a bullet point on the resume or something like that. But it's it manifests itself quite powerfully in the workplace.
Absolutely.
Especially with business
Absolutely.
challenges and And you got a deep sense of loyalty too, and passion.
An extreme sense of loyalty. And, you know, when we've had very difficult moments where sometimes, you know, there's something that happened to the order, or, you know, power went down at some point, and you ask people, hey, what can we do? It's a Friday night. Everybody went back home, and you cannot imagine how immediately they say, they raise their hands, I'm coming back to the kitchen, taking a taxi from wherever I am, and I'm fixing the problem. They're not wondering, hey, am I going to get paid overtime, or that this comes definitely later. And there's this amazing loyalty. And I can tell you a story. I don't know if you're going to ask me the question now or later
Oh,
about
please go
what
ahead.
happened in the pandemic. Like every other business, the crisis, the COVID-19 crisis hit us hard. And our catering business, which was our primary source of income, pretty much disappeared from one day to the next, as you can imagine. So we shifted to this different model now, where we're offering care packages to New Yorkers, as well as organically, we started doing also catering for hospitals. But of course, when we started the first few weeks, the financials were not there, and we were just bleeding money. And as you can see, there were unemployment opportunities that made sense for people. We were still paying people salaries, but there came a point where some people, if they went on unemployment, they may make more money. So we wanted to be very transparent and called a meeting and said, look, this is the situation today. We don't know if this is going to work or not financially in the short term. We have two options. We could close and restart in September, and you go on unemployment, or we could try and do this, and we will guarantee your salary so far, but that's the situation. And we said, let's have a vote. What do you guys think? And overwhelmingly, people said, we want to work. You know, we're happy we have a job. We want to work. We want to try this new product, share it with New Yorkers. And it came from them. And that is an amazing sense of loyalty and pride that came through, that we definitely appreciated also.
Well, I want to get back to that in a second, but with the
Yeah.
pandemic and COVID, you guys also have put in some new offerings, some new opportunities for people to help through your business, correct?
Yes, we have. So we've imagined what we're calling a care package, which is essentially a basket of several meals and snacks and breakfasts that you can buy for a family. We have 2 delivery slots, and then it will, depending on how many people in the family, you will have several portions that you will reheat in the microwave. And it's a feature from our offering from the variety of countries. So it's extremely well received today. And it was something that we put together quickly, but that pretty much saved us and restarted the business in this pandemic.
So you can go on your website, order a care package for someone else or for a frontline worker or a neighbor, and
Yes,
have it delivered.
exactly. You can order it for yourself, for somebody else. We have 3 care packages today. You can have add-ons. We're even selling, one of our chefs is making masks at home. So you can add this as an add-on. And we've started receiving calls as well from people who wanted to show their appreciation to healthcare workers. And they were ordering our traditional catering offering to get delivered to hospitals. So that also started as a sideline business. And that was a great show of support from New Yorkers. And we reacted well to that.
Great to hear. So you mentioned you gave employees the opportunity to take unemployment, and plus this pandemic unemployment relief that gives an additional $600 a month,
Yes,
right? It's quite a good
correct.
sum to just say, okay, I'll ride this out for 3-4 months at home, and then we'll see what happens. But your employees chose something different, which speaks to the culture that you created. What advice or 1 or 2 things would you give a business owner who's watching this thinking, I want to build a similar culture? Like what's 1 or 2 things that they can do to help foster that?
I think that is a very good question. Uh, and I don't know if there's a short answer to that, but I do believe it's extremely important to put, in our case, the worker at the center of the business, and to say, you know, this is something that you're creating. So how can you have the person extremely proud of whatever product or service they're delivering. This is key. And where they feel the sense of skin in the game, if you want, that if something gets shipped and we get a bad review, they take it very personally and they're very hurt. So it's not just about the bottom line or the financials. There's this, this pride and emotional connection. That's not easy to build. The second is on the financial side, we've tried to be as fair as possible, given the financials and the profits. We've been very transparent in terms of our financial situation, when it was good, when it was a little bit more challenging. And when it was good, we've offered bonuses or, you know, gifts or extra time that showed the sense of belonging as well. And I think the last thing is we've kept a very important important culture as well, is to keep a very good atmosphere in the kitchen. Kitchens can be extremely stressful environments. We have listened, and we've kept some people that sometimes maybe, you know, they are spreading this good atmosphere. So this is an important element. We have communal lunches. You know, it's extremely busy until 2, so it happens late, but they cook whatever is there. Everybody, you know, some people start trying new dishes this way on us and on the team. And that moment of 20, 30 minutes of communal lunches where everybody stops working and they eat together also creates this culture and atmosphere. And we've been very proactive in managing conflicts, because conflicts arise in every business. But we've taken them very seriously and never let them also linger. Manage them.
It becomes like a family, right? Something, you know, families fight and they have disagreements,
yes,
but they're always there for each other,
exactly.
and support each other and come back to the dinner table together. And that's what builds that strong sense of bond and camaraderie. So, you know, thank you for sharing that. Real quick, what are a few of the more popular menu items that you have?
So that's a difficult question because we have different tastes. I myself
popular.
like, they are all popular. I love a dish from Ceylon called katarika curry, which is eggplant based, and it's vegetarian, vegan, amazing. Our hummus is always a good option, or a great option, I should say. It's popular. Everybody likes it. There's an amazing dish from Afghanistan, chicken karahi, that everybody absolutely loves with the spices, and it's not too spicy. It's just at this right level that you know, American palate loves. So these are a bit free, but we have many more options as well. And the baklawa is also, we have Iraqi baklawa. Our Iraqi chef makes this baklawa, and it's amazing. It's great.
Ah, that's fantastic. And how many countries do you have chefs representing?
So we have about 15 countries that have been on and off, and some countries get a little bit more dishes, some countries a little bit less, and it changes. There's a rotation in the menu, and it goes. I named a few countries, but you know, you could add now. We have Venezuela as well, the American continent. You have Senegal, some African countries. I've mentioned Iran. We have Syria too, the Middle East.
Very rich in diversity.
Yes.
Well, Wissam, thank you for joining us today. What a great way to elevate humanity by seeing the humanity in all of us, which is what Eat Offbeat is teaching us with their model and their example. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience today?
Well, I would like to thank you first, because I've spent some time also on conscious capitalism, and I'm very, very impressed and very empathetic to all the values that you represent. In terms of what I would like to share, we talked about the business today. Our website is just eatoffbeat.com. So eatoffbeat.com. We're offering these care packages. Like I said, it should be very easy to go and check them out there. If people can give us a chance and try the product, we would love that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Finally, we have a cookbook that was supposed to be released now, but the publisher is delaying the publishing given what's happening. So stay tuned for that as well.
And that's where at home you can create the same menu items that your chefs create?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
it's recipes and stories from our chefs as well.
the stories I'll like. The recipes won't do any good for me. I can barely even make eggs or cereal, but I can order, so I will. I can go on the internet and click on a couple buttons. So I'll make sure to do that. Well, thanks so much, Wissam. So before we end today, I just wanted to thank our sponsors of the Conscious Capitalism New York City chapter, the Core Club, as well as the Tomiak Foundation, who make programs like this possible. And with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us. And if you're not part of our mailing list, please make sure to subscribe at www.consciouscapitalism.org/NYC. And we hope to see you again on another episode of Conscious Business Connections. Thank you.